When the party is over, it's back to work. We had a lot to do if we were going to reach 200 episodes. The prospect of reaching even 100 episodes of our other show, Baywatch Nights, did not look that good at this stage in its life. In a word, Nights bombed. Certainly, for a relatively small company, we were attempting a major coup to produce a total of 44 one-hour episodes, 22 of Baywatch, and 22 of Baywatch Nights, in less than a year. But that is no excuse for not turning out better work. At the end of the first season, 1995 to 96, our Los Angeles and New York stations declined to buy more episodes of Nights for the following year. At this point, All American should have canceled the show immediately. But instead, All American renewed it for a second season, 1996 to 97. The reasons were somewhat valid. All American did not want to damage the overall Baywatch franchise, and they didn't want Hasselhoff nor All American Television to be perceived as having failed. Lastly, All American didn't want their new executive in charge of Nights, David Gerber, to be perceived as having failed. At All American's request, Burke and Schwartz both left Nights. Yet another conflict of interest, similar to the NBC hassle. That left me to run the whole night show. I couldn't do everything, so All American brought in their own man, an experienced writer and producer, Maurice Hurley, or simply Mo. At first, Mo ran the script department for Nights. Soon he was serving as the show's executive producer. While I went off to prep Baywatch for the next season, Mo became the showrunner for Nights, the person who actually creates the show by having a hand in every aspect of its production. We were lucky to have Mo's competent leadership, which kept the show on budget and on schedule. While Nights might not have fulfilled its overall ratings promise, it introduced me to Mo, and that was practically the only silver lining. In order for Nights to air in Los Angeles and New York during the 1996 to 97 season, All American had to buy it onto the air, much like an infomercial. It is a risky concept, one that has potential to lose huge amounts of money, which is exactly what happened. The end of the line came in typical Hollywood fashion. On a Sunday morning in April 1996, I met with All American Sid Vintage at the Starbucks in Malibu. We had several things on the agenda. Finally, toward the end of our meeting, I said to Sid, "Time is running out. If All American wants a third season of Nights, you must commission new scripts right now. Do you want new scripts?" And then said, "No. No new scripts" translates into cancellation. The white flag had been hoisted. Nights' overall ratings were awful. A 2.2. In Los Angeles, the show aired at 11 p.m. Sunday and 3 a.m. Tuesday. You could put up the test pattern and get a 1.0 rating simply because people fell asleep with the television on. Still, it was sobering news. We managed only 44 seasons, not enough for strip syndication, unless we could slip it into the Baywatch package. But unfortunately, Nights was so different from Baywatch that the buyers did not accept it. We did many things wrong with Nights. For starters, when the star is the executive producer and has a strong voice in the running of the show, conflicts can arise. Hasselhoff was tired of running around with his shirt off. I mean, he's my age, I can relate. He was sick of driving the rescue truck. I can understand that too. He wanted to surround himself with sexy women, and who doesn't? But then he wanted to solve assorted crimes using previously unknown detective skills. Basically, he wanted to be James Bond, Matt Helm, and Thomas Magnum rolled into one. Certainly that wouldn't have been so bad, but detective shows have been on television forever and continue to succeed. But Hasselhoff's Mitch Buchanan character was already established as a lifeguard. Nonetheless, we ended up producing the show Hasselhoff wanted. Hell, we figured it might work. The audience then responded with a resounding bullshit. This is lifeguard Mitch Buchanan. How can he afford these snappy clothes? The red car? How can he mess with babes when Hobie is left at home by himself? They were watching Baywatch and they totally rejected Baywatch Nights. It was the worst tested show in history. But by the time we received the results from the focus group, we were already down the road. We had shot 9 episodes at $1,070,000 each. Nights was filmed indoors, which allowed us to control the elements. No foggy mornings or big surf to contend with. But when you are shooting outdoors, as with Baywatch, and you know the sun goes down at 5 p.m., you find a way to complete the day's work. Filming Nights on a soundstage was like being in a Las Vegas casino. Suddenly you would ask, well, what time is it? Only to find out you have been shooting for 16 hours. I won't miss Nights. It was not my sort of show. Toward the end, it had more ghosts than the X-Files. The ratings were non-existent. It had a nagging habit of being named among the worst series of the season. Just the last 12 to 24 months, the business of distributing independently produced programming such as Baywatch has changed dramatically, whereas before it could be a cash cow of heroic proportions. Lately it's become a risky business, particularly when launching a new show. Our original partner, Chris Kraft, now has a bigger partner, Paramount. Together they have created United Paramount Network, a new network with its own original programming. Rather than promote Baywatch, UPN now promotes its own Parkers and Star Trek Voyager. That leaves only one channel in Los Angeles for a company like All American to approach. And through the process of elimination, this channel has found its own niche, local news and sports. At the same time, a dozen independent shows are competing for any open slots. Stargate SG-1, Xena, Hercules. It's like having 9 Dories trying to race on an 8-lane course. Somebody is gonna miss out. The only other revenue source is foreign sales. For certain shows like Baywatch, this money can make all the difference in the world. But for shows that don't translate well, the only money they can expect to earn is in the domestic market. The lesson for today? Only produce shows with foreign licensing potential. The most difficult part of Night's cancellation was breaking the news to the people who worked on the show. Now I had to tell a lot of good people that they would soon be needing a new job. In 1990, the new Baywatch started with 3 people, Doug, Michael, and myself. Now just for Baywatch, we employ around 250 people, and that doesn't count the people who work for us in various production facilities around town. Our people are composing music, making costumes, creating masks, doing hair. Hair people love to work on hair. Alan Payne, our department head, stopped by my office and said, "Come out and see this wig I did." Giving these people a canvas on which they can perform their craft is one of the most satisfying aspects of producing Baywatch. Everyone respects that we must do what we can for the dollar, or we're not going to be around much longer. I had a long conversation with our casting ladies. They were concerned that they might have to take a pay cut next year. I told them I honestly don't know. It depends on the ratings. And the ratings are lower than they were 2 years ago. Therefore, we generate less revenue, which means less money can go into creating the show. That doesn't mean we cannot keep making Baywatch, but each episode now costs $1.2 million to produce and generates a 7.0 rating. With a 5.0 rating, we would need to make the show for $950,000. But given the choice between continuing at a reduced budget or not at all, we will continue at $950,000. Obviously, it would mean asking everyone to take a pay cut if they wanted to remain with Baywatch.